Hello everyone and welcome to my weekly blog, The Ricette di Giovanni. This blog is dedicated to opera, pasta and not only, and tenor Giovanni Consiglio. My name is Stefanos Koroneos. I'm the artistic director of Teatro Gratacello in New York City, and I'm an opera singer. And if you ask yourselves what prompted me to do this, to start this blog, it's a long story. To make it short, Teatro Gratacello this year launched an international competition called, nominated after tenor Giovanni Consiglio. And while I was researching a little bit about his life, about his legacy, I found out that Giovanni Consiglio was a great cook. His house was always full of people who would enjoy his recipes. And while he was very generous in that sense, he was not that generous by giving away his recipes. He would never give away those recipes. And when he did, he always left out one ingredient. So that prompted me in a way to start thinking that, you know, we opera singers, we musicians, yes, we do spend a lot of time on the stage and a lot of time in rehearsal room and in musical rooms, but we also do spend a lot of time in kitchen, on a table, eating, talking between us, getting to know each other better while we are in a production, or maybe catch up if we know each other from past productions and we haven't seen each other for a few years. Obviously, all of this is not possible right now. We are all in lockdown. We are all practicing social distancing. So why not get together with some of the people that I really love and I really appreciate in the business and spend half an hour, 40 minutes cooking with them and talking about opera and food. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to a very dear person to me, or joy of joys, or rapture of raptures. And I thought I had more superlatives, but I have run out of them. So without further ado, conductor Jorge Parodi, who is the musical director of opera in Williamsburg, but he's a well-known conductor. He has been conducting all over the world, and I'm very, very lucky to have been working with him for the last few years. Hi, Jorge.
Hi, Stefano. Well, thank you for having me. It's fun to be here in the kitchen doing something. I've never done this before. I was a little nervous. I said, oh, been cooking online. I love to cook. I cook all the time. I've never done it publicly like this. So it's fun.
Listen, now we are doing it via Zoom, but yeah. I'm hoping, my hope is that when this is over, I'm going to get an invitation and I'm going to be in your beautiful apartment and I'm going to be enjoying some Argentinian food.
Exactly. In fact, yeah, I when you asked me to what I could, I decided to do Argentinian Empanadas, which is something that I love. It's actually my favorite Argentinian food, and it's actually very easy to make. So let's start. All right.
Before we start the cooking, Jorge, a very quick question, and then we start right away. You know, I have always asked everybody that I have ever met throughout my path in opera, because, you know, not everybody has the same got into opera for the same reasons. What prompted you, in a few words, to say, I want to be involved in the opera world?
Easy question, actually. I started as a pianist, very young, 6 years old, in a very small city in Argentina called Santa Rosa, the capital of my province. I started studying piano there with in a small conservatory, and then I studied with my sister. And then I moved to Buenos Aires. I studied at the conservatory, the very important conservatory in Buenos Aires, and I did piano and conducting. But at that time, I started working with singers, and I fall in love with the vocal repertoire because of the storytelling and the poetry. And so I was doing a lot of chamber music, a lot of vocal songs repertoire. and eventually I got more and more, put everything together, conducting an opera and vocal, and I started doing opera, and I love it. I love opera more than anything because of the drama, of the beauty, the storytelling, the possibilities, the social quality, the fact that we are with working with so many people, with the orchestra, with the singers. I love singers. I love singers. I think their personality is just wonderful. They put their heart out on stage, and they are just very outgoing, and so it's really fun. Everything is fun.
Wonderful. And you know, I know that you love singers because I have worked with you. So I know how much love and how much respect you have for singers. And I totally I can see that in your personality. And yeah, let's start cooking then. And while we're
Okay.
cooking, we will also talk about other things.
So I'm going to turn on the oven,
Okay.
and we're going to put it in the normal 450. I'm going to take out out. You don't need it. So there it goes. And then the first thing we need is onions. Make sure that you see the onion there. So this is Spanish onion, but anything that is sweet will do. A very, I mean, very simple way of cutting onions. You know, you cut the tips, then you get rid of the skin. I used to watch a lot of cooking shows.
Okay.
I did all that night, so I pick up some kind of good technique about it. One thing that we do with the onions. Very good. You cut it in half, and then and you see where the root was,
Right.
and then you put lines all the way, almost to the root, but not really all the way to the root. And so it doesn't lose the shape. And then you cut them this way because it holds together, and very quickly you have minced onions. There you are. So this ingredient, essentially the Argentinian empanadas only take onions and meat and beef. That's it.
Okay.
You can put other little things, at least the way my mother used to make them.
Right.
It's a very simple, very typical. There are many recipes, and you can put so many fillings in empanadas. But the meat empanadas essentially is the meat and the onions.
Okay.
I have the ground beef here, and I'm going to put. It is a pound of meat, so I'm going to put a pound of onions. It's about the same amount of onion with the same amount of meat. So.
Oh, that's very interesting. So there is a balance between the two things.
Yes, it's very easy to remember. I mean, and it doesn't matter. You can put less onions if you don't have that many, or you think it's too much onions. But essentially, it's 1-to-1. So. So this is about a little over an onion, but I will. This is one. Let's put a little more onions. I would probably put less than a pound of onions, but we'll see.
Okay.
So how is life?
Life is pretty good. You know, I actually was going to ask you the same thing. You know, how do you experience COVID-related loss?
Well, you know, it's really. I mean, first of all, I have to say, my partner and me and I, Howard and I, are very fortunate. We've been, healthy at home, so that is a good thing. We have our little dog here, and we're enjoying the time together and everything. So I know people have had much worse, to say the least,
Right.
things to deal with. So let's put everything in perspective, right?
Right.
That said, it's just so unfortunate that we cannot do what we love. In addition to conducting freelancing and working in Williamsburg and in many other companies, I have two works at school. I am a vocal coach at Juilliard, and also I'm a music director of the undergraduate opera at Manhattan School of Music. And so fortunately, the work in the schools is still going on, and we've been planning really hard how to restart the season next year. So that's all in the work, right? So we are processing that. So at least we are fortunate that we do have work. That the teaching work is still continuing, but in terms of the so we have a pan of onion and a pan. I actually have a here just to, in this case I usually do it by eye, but I think it's about the same, so I measure everything. But then so it's really unfortunate that all the loss that we had to suffer. I mean, two of my one show, our show in Virginia canceled. It was going to be in April, and you were going to be part of it, and we had to cancel. But hopefully we'll reschedule for next year. And then I have a workshop. I created a workshop 5 years ago in Japan. A summer workshop. I'm putting
butter.
By the way, it's much better to saute onions with butter than with oil.
Oh.
The butter makes it sweeter and more transparent. The oil makes it a little harder and a little but the onions will bring the sweetness of the butter will bring the sweetness of the onion, and it will cook better. You'll see it. It's really It's always, when you have a choice, use butter for onions, and it will get sweeter and more transparent. So
that's something I didn't know. Excellent, thank you.
It's really cool. So it is, it's unfortunate that all the work has been stopped. I mean, I have some project coming up in October, and unfortunately, our show in Virginia that was going to be in October also had canceled because we lost the access to the theater. Because the schedule, the school that runs the theater had to reschedule. But I'm still scheduled to do a show with Opera Orlando, Tales of Hoffman, in October. Florida has not canceled things, so we hope that somehow we will be able to figure out a way. But we'll see. It's difficult.
Great.
So there you go with the onions.
Excellent.
Very simple. So,
what do you have to say? You work with a lot of young singers, and you are known for that. What would you be your message to all these young people that right now they are panicking or experiencing loss, or they don't know what is going to happen in their future? What is your advice? What is your take?
It's hard. there's something about unrelated to COVID. They always people said, well, opera is dying, and opera is so difficult, and opera is not it doesn't have a good future. And I always say, actually, that is not true at all. I work in schools, and we can. I mean, unfortunately, we even have to turn people away from it because there are so many young people that are eager to learn about opera, more than we can actually accommodate. And certainly, there's not enough work for all that talent. But I think the singers themselves find a way to make it work if they can. But that said, I mean, it's always depend on the ingenuity and imagination and the creativity of the artists. I think I will encourage everyone to figure out a way to do something, generate your own projects. Opera is not only a big theater with a big orchestra with a big amount of people in the audience. Opera is two singers with piano in the living room. That's opera also. Now, how to make money out of it? Well, there are different things. You can create recitals. For example, as I say, I work in Japan, and they have an enormous amount of singers. Like anything in Japan, there's a lot of people for everything, and they are incredibly talented and generous and energetic, and they generate their own productions. There's only really 2 professional companies in Tokyo, and we're talking about 700 graduates a year, every single year. So you can imagine, they created the like societies, producing societies. So they produce their own shows as a bit of a cooperative in which all the singers are, in a way, the producers. They have a responsibility with the tickets. They have to sell a certain amount of tickets. They engage the audience. They invite people, and it comes, and they organize recitals. And it does work, and really, so, they are proactive. They're not waiting until a company hires them. That is a format, but it's not the only format. Of course, in Europe, some of the companies are run by the state, then that makes things very easy.
Right.
So because then the state has the money and you don't have to worry too much about it. But that's just one way of doing it. In this American format is very different. It's all private institution with donors. So you can create your own company and find your own donors. That is a valid format. What is true though is that the artist and the love for the art form keeps coming, and it has not stopped in the 20 years that I live in New York, and the talent is always amazing. And unfortunately, there's not enough work for everyone, but there's many people that work in it, as we do somehow.
So, this resonates with me a lot, what you're saying, and I will explain. We are doing in Gratacello this year 2 productions, and oh, I see. Wonderful. Wow.
They're a little more transparent. Yeah, tell me.
So, I put out the other days in a couple of places an announcement where I was looking for interns for Gratacello, artist administration and fundraising interns, people who would have worked for Gratacello until we finish the production, and they can help us to develop what we are developing right now. And you would be surprised how many young artists, how many opera singers have applied for this job. And I say to all of them, and I'm sure you will agree with me, that there are so many other opportunities except the actual opportunity of singing that you can make a living and you can have a wonderful life in the arts and in the opera world.
But also exactly, and you're giving the opportunity for them to create in the business part of the opera, which is also
Right.
part of the opera. And look at you, you are the artistic director of the company, and you're still singing.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean that you have to choose one or the next one. And so we keep doing things because we love the form. I mean, I'm sure you love being an administrator. I love being an administrator. I love being a music director. I love being involved with casting and helping people. I love conducting, but also I love auditioning. Everything is great.
Right.
I really appreciate everything we do. So I'm glad that you find that's a great idea. I'm going to put 3 condiments only. So one is oregano.
Okay.
I'm going to put a lot of oregano actually. So it's going to be a teaspoon of oregano.
Okay.
That's quite a bit of a lot.
So you got me already there.
Yeah, a lot of oregano. And I'm going to put pepper, ground pepper, black pepper. And that's just to taste. But I will say a good amount because it's a lot of meat.
Right.
There you are. And salt. But I'm not going to add salt because I'm cooking without salt these days.
Okay.
So, but you should probably put salt in it. It's up to you. I mean, without salt, it tastes, saltless. So it's but that's that's where it's better for my health. So there's plenty of flavor anyway.
I feel you. I do the same. The same.
So, yeah, I'm going to add the beef into the pot. I'm going to break it a bit. I'm going to show you a bit how it looks. So okay, so we are mixing the meat.
Mm-hmm.
I will break it all until it's very apart. Okay, so I'm going to just put it back there. But you'll see me working it until that's. So, and how is the competition going?
Competition is going pretty well. We have, this competition started with the idea of giving young singers something to look forward to, and also to promote young talent all around the world, because I feel like right now it's more important than ever. Young singers and singers who are at the beginning of their career have opportunities to exactly be heard by a lot of people, and that's why I invited in the jury administrators, agents, casting directors, because that's the only way to be heard. That so that the people who actually can make a career happen are aware of all the singers around the world. And I'm very happy that you are one of them, because I know this is what I admire. I know how much you do for young singers. I know it. And
Right. So it's great to, it will be wonderful to hear all these people. And as you know, when you told me about the competition, and I say, I wonder if we can create a prize for our Japanese, a way to help them. And we were talking about, I was telling you how many wonderful singers are there. So I decided our institution in Japan, the Tokyo International Vocal Arts Academy, decided to create a prize for the competition. So for all the Japanese nationals that decided to apply. So I think it will be, and it's so wonderful that they can do it online from anywhere in the world.
Right. Yes, of course. And I always loved Japanese voices. In fact, one of the roles in Fedora was I had scheduled a tenor, a wonderful tenor from Japan to sing it, which unfortunately we lost only because his visa was expired. We all know that right now the situation with the visas is very precarious. So he had to actually give it up and go back to Japan, but we will get him, in the next few years. And in general, there is, I know, I have never been to Japan, to be honest with you. I have sang in Hong Kong and in other places, but never in Japan. But I know that there is a big culture. And there is a lot of love for this art form, and not only. So it's pretty exciting. Do I see eggs there?
I do eggs, yes. So these are hard-boiled eggs. I did it earlier today.
Okay.
I'm going to peel them.
Okay.
So because we're going to add, remember as I said that essentially is meat and onions, but then you can add many things. Things that they do that at my place, at my home, was onions, hard-boiled eggs, raisins, and olives.
Oh wow! What a combination!
Yeah.
Sweet and sour. Yeah.
I didn't personally. I never liked the raisins because I didn't, as a kid, I never liked to bite the sweetness in the middle of the saltiness.
Oh.
But now as an adult, I learned to like that more.
Right.
I love the olives, and if you do it, I will suggest you just take it, the pitted one, and put half olive, or you can put the whole olive inside. I'm not going to put olive this time because they had too much salt. So again, in this case, I'm only going to use the hard-boiled eggs, and then you just need to. I'm going to do 10 empanadas, so I need to create 10 pieces of. I usually do like a quarter egg, and I think I will do that. I will leave two empanadas without egg, which is fine. So there are beautiful eggs. Sorry.
So you practically have to dish.
So yeah, I'm just going to, because now we're going to do the fun part, which is put the empanadas together. So I'm going to move you to the table because I'm going to sit down for this. So so the meat is done. Right. So now let me get the empanadas. So this is what we call the tapas, masa de empanadas.
Okay.
And you can buy them anywhere, really anywhere. Every stores in New York have it.
Okay.
So it's actually easy to find them.
Yes, I live in a Cuban neighborhood, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. But it's even in in any neighborhood will have it. I bought them in just a normal standard restaurant, no restaurant, how do you call it, store. So you'll find them easily. So I have water here. I need to make my fingers wet.
Okay.
Good to get a spoon for the filling. So we have the filling here. Make sure they're not too cold, not too warm. I had them frozen, and then I had to unfrozen, and then they were a little too warm. But you know, they come with the plastic, so it's easy to handle.
Right.
So you have the empanada here. You grab a fat spoon of filling.
Mm-hmm.
You put an egg in it. Then you put water on the edges.
Okay.
Then you close it. If you don't know how to make the repulgue, el repulgue is the little closing it.
Right.
You can just use a spoon and a fork.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a fork and do it like this.
Uh-huh.
Very simple. You see it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So you should just like that.
Uh-huh.
And you just press it, and it gets a little pretty feeling.
Right.
But the traditional one is you grab from this, you just go around and around and around.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I have seen that, and I was always wondering how did they do it. Oh, I see. That's so interesting.
Very easy, right?
Right, right.
You're going to see me do 10 of this. Hold on. Before I'm going to put olive oil in the. I'm going to put olive oil in the
Pan.
in the pan. You can see that I put foil, so it's easier to clean.
Right, right. That's what I do too, believe me. I do not want to clean the pan.
Yeah. So, but still, I put olive oil so it doesn't get stuck, right? And I move it a little so it gets a little. All right. So that's one.
Okay.
Do another one. Big fat spoon of filling.
Uh-huh.
Another egg.
You're making me so hungry right now.
The water.
I love empanadas. You know, this year in our production we have two Argentinian members. We have Eugenia Forteza, and we are our director, the person who is going to film direct the production, the filming of the production is Malena Diane, who is also from Argentina.
Yeah, so I'm very good friend of both, but especially of Malena. We've been friends together. Actually, we met in Israel with Dodi and Malena in John Dorneman's program. And we've been friends for almost 20 years now.
Right. You know, and
we met. The thing, funny now is we met in Israel, not in Argentina or not even New York.
Right. I mean, listen. Last week I was I did a recipe with Carolina Pilou, the Greek mezzo-soprano, whom I met in New York in a production. So yes, that's but you know, it's very interesting to me. You guys in Argentina has such a huge operatic history and so much going on. And you know, I don't know if you know, Giovanni Consiglio had a very good career in Argentina. That's actually how he started.
He was very very appreciated, very well known there in Argentina. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful to remember his memory. Yeah, I have heard his name about. I mean, in Argentina,
Mhm.
he had a big name and a wonderful story. He sang a lot at the Colón, and
Right.
yeah, Argentina has a lot of music history, but especially in opera because at the turn of the century, the 1900s, they created as an amazing theater. It's one of the best theaters in the world in terms of the building, and that attracted all the artists that were not working in the summer in the northern hemisphere. They will go to Argentina, Rio, and to Buenos Aires, Rio, and Santiago. So we'll do the South American tour, but especially spend months in Buenos Aires singing at the Colón Opera House. All the names that you can imagine from the 50s and the 40s and the 60s were in Argentina. So we are very proud of our operatic tradition, and we really like opera. I had the opportunity to conduct in Buenos Aires twice. There's another beautiful theater called the Teatro Avenida that it was actually originally a Zarzuela Teatro. And it was closed for a long time, but then they opened it, and Placido came to open it. And it was originally again created to do zarzuelas, but then eventually continued doing operas. And it's a also beautiful Italian style theater. So.
Yes, you know, as you already know, I lived in Milano for many years, and I remember there was a very famous maestro. Everybody would go to him to prepare roles, called Maestro Barazzola, and
Oh yeah.
he was from Argentina. He was an amazing man. I will never forget him. I was young and pretty scared, when I was taking my first steps, and he was always so accommodating and so nice, and so assuring, which is important. And you have that quality too. That's what I wanted to say before. It's always so refreshing when you actually work with conductors that they are reassuring, that no matter what, you don't feel like you're doing something wrong, even if you're doing something wrong.
Well, we're all trying. We're all trying to do our best, and really the important thing is to keep loving the art form. I think that's just the most important part, and really keep doing it however we can. And so let's see what happens, at the end of this, and hopefully in some months we can go back to some sort of normality. Of course, it's going to affect everyone because the finances are so weird now, and it's going to take a longer time to get to a normality.
Right.
But for a while, opera in the States, it was having a lot of financial issues. So the typical productions that you associate with grand opera, were very hard to come by. But again, opera somehow continues. Look what happened in the war with England, and then Britain couldn't do the big operas, and then create these amazing chamber operas that are so wonderful, like Rape of Lucretia or The Turn of the Screw, and those are not less wonderful than Gloriana or what's the name? Peter Grimes. They're just really wonderful on their own. So it's we'll figure out a way, because as I say, artists are the one that really power the engine, and there's always more and more artists. So that's
Yes, and there is always a way. You know, I wanted to ask you something before because I see that you are almost done. It's a surprise question. What do you want the people to know about you? What we should know about you? What do you want the
what
people
they should know.
about you?
What they should know about me. I think that I think I would love people to think that I'm very nice and very friendly, and
You are.
and I like I like people. I trust people, and I want people to do their best without me having to yell for it. And I think that's, you know, in a way. For example, I work at Juilliard, and working in schools, in this kind of school, is actually quite rewarding, because you don't need to motivate these people. They're so eager, so I don't have to convince them to do their work. I just need to tell them what to do, and they do it. And I think that is very important. What else about me? I don't know. I think that I'm very easy and friendly. That's a good thing to do. I remember I was working with my teacher in Michigan. I came to University of Michigan to study with Martin Katz, and that's what actually brought me to the States. And he, in the lessons, would say, "Well, what would you like to be said in your tombstone?" And then I said, really, I don't care, because I'll be dead. But if I have to say something, I will say he was happy. And if that says in my stone, I think people will be very jealous.
Yes.
So I have extra, and I'm going to eat a bit.
You're making me so hungry. Listen, for how long are you going to cook them now?
I'm going to do one more thing before I'm going to put egg on top.
Okay. Okay. Beaten egg. Are you going to beat it?
Right. It's going to be I'm going to put one egg.
Okay.
This is like that. To make it shiny. This empanadas, the dough of these empanadas is actually for frying, but I don't like frying empanadas. I like baked empanadas better. So you just put quite a bit of it on top.
Okay. Yeah, fried empanadas. First of all, you have to be a master of fry them very quickly and in very hot oil. And I don't know how much it would work in an apartment, right?
Right. I mean, I never done it. It takes a lot of oil.
Right.
And the empanadas I usually buy in Argentina are kind of flaky, and like filo dough kind of thing. These are a little less flaky, but still they're very.
I cannot wait to try them. I'm going to try them this weekend.
Another thing that is a surprise, I put a little sugar.
Okay. Is it to caramelize or for
it's a little extra crunch.
Okay.
This is brown sugar.
Yeah.
And it's a contrast with it. It gives a little extra crunch on the top, and it's like a surprise flavor. So I'm going to put also a little of pepper on top, just mostly for color. and then just need to bake them. So here are empanadas before.
Yeah, yes, yummy, yummy.
I'm going to put it in the oven. I think it will take, my guess is about half hour. Maybe I should call you a little later, or so we can talk. We can continue talking. I think you.
I unfortunately have run out of time and it's about to catch us off. But what I would like you to do, if you don't mind, is text me when they're ready. So I will calculate time so I can put it in the recipe. In the meantime, Jorge, I want to thank you so much. You have made my evening.
Thank you for inviting me. It's really fun. Yeah, it was really fun. I was very excited about when you give me the idea. I said, oh yes, that's a great thing to do. I love to cook and I love to hang out with people and company. Yes. So this is wonderful. Yeah.
To better times together. I mean, obviously I will see you before that, but we need to definitely in our next production where we're going to be together, we need to make those empanadas.
Yes. And then you can try them firsthand, not in a picture.
Thank you so much, and good night.
Okay, good. I'll call you later.